Hey everybody, this is Steven once again with Tiny Orange TV. You can find me live streaming on Twitch at twitch.tv/tinyorangetv, or you can follow me on your favorite social media of choice. I'm pretty much on all of those. I'm going to expand on the game of craps a little bit in this video. I have a previous video about mostly about the field bet and kind of a beginner's guide to the field bet and dice probabilities, which we kind of hopefully you got the gist of in the previous video, and why the game of craps is focused on the number 7. But if you are a beginner to craps, I would tell you to go back to that video and learn about the field bet and dice probabilities in a very surface type of understanding. So in this video, I'm going to explain probably the most common bet outside of the field bet, which would be the pass line. So just like the field bet, the pass line pays you 1-to-1. So if you bet $100 on the pass line and you win, you're going to win $100 back. These two bets are different in the sense that the field bet is a single roll bet, which means that after every roll, this bet is going to be resolved. There's going to be a winner or a loser every time the dice are rolled here. Whereas the pass line, you're going to put the minimum, let's say the minimum's 104 kings on the normal tables. So you'd put $100 on the pass line, and that $100 bet may not be resolved within one roll. It might take 2 rolls. It might take 10 rolls. It could be a indeterminate amount of time before that before the dice decide whether that bet wins or loses. So to demonstrate the pass line, I'm going to switch to a different view of craps from a different game. This is a live one that you can play on Bovada.com. I'm not playing in 4 kings because I can't stand over the table and talk my head off without slowing other players down or what have you. So this one looks a little different, but it's essentially the same, and we're only going to focus on the pass line right now. What's nice about 4 kings is you can right-click on these things, and it'll tell you the payouts and how the bet wins and loses. But essentially, the game of craps can be broken down into 2 rounds of rolling, and it all has to do with this button, the on-off button. So when the button is off, it's basically the beginning of a new round. And the first roll of the round is called the come out roll. So when this button is off, there's a come out roll going on. The next roll will be the come out roll. And that is the only time you can place a pass line bet. This game's actually nice because everything is in red or green depending on if you can bet it or not. So right now we can't make a come bet, but we can make a pass line bet, which is don't worry about the come bet just yet. So we will put $100 on the pass line. Now what's happening here, basically on the come out roll, the number 7 wins. So if you put $100 on the pass line, if I rolled these dice and a 7 came up, I would win, just like that, $100. Which is good because going back to the dice probability, 7 is the most likely number. So if you can bet the pass line and just keep rolling 7s, you're going to win over and over and over and over, which would be amazing. It is the most likely thing to happen, but obviously that doesn't happen. So let's roll and see what happens. So the number 7 wins. Also the number 11 wins on the pass line. So 7 and 11 are very good right now. When the button is off, if you bet pass line, 7 and 11 is a win. So hopefully we'll roll a 7 or 11. Otherwise, we'll more than likely roll one of these 6 numbers up here. So let's see what happens. Okay, so we rolled a 5. So we didn't roll a 7 or 11. So we haven't lost, though. Our bet is still here. So basically, what is happening now, we're on the second half of a craps round. And this is when the point is on. So now the point is 5. That's what this is called. When it's on a number, that's your point. That's your point number as a shooter or somebody rolling the dice. They want to, assuming they're playing the pass line as well. If you're standing at the table by yourself, if I'm shooting the dice right now, I'm playing the pass line. I need to make my point now, and my point number is 5. So what does that mean? Now I need to hit the number 5 to win this $100 bet. but I need to hit 5 before I hit a 7. So now when this on button happens to be on like this, the number 7 is bad now. So that's what makes this button very important. When the button is off, 7 is good. You could think of it in terms of that. 7 is good. When the button is on, 7 is bad. Now, going back to the probabilities of the dice, now we're looking at, this is what we need to roll. These are good. I don't know if I should have done that in green. Probably not. Let's do it in, I don't know, orange. Will that show up? Orange is good, because we're on tiny orange. Orange is what you want. Red is what you don't want. So when you have a point established, right now our point is 5. These are the dice combinations that will win us that bet. There's only 4 of them. These are the dice combinations that will lose us that bet. There are 6 of them. So now the odds are technically against us in winning our $100 bet. But that is for the dice to decide. So let's roll this one out. And this is a very easy way to play craps. You could just play the pass line and nothing more, and you could play for a long time, and your bankroll may not fluctuate all that much because this bet can take a long time to resolve itself sometimes. So let's roll. There we go. So we actually hit it immediately. So we rolled a 5, and our come out roll, it put the point to 5. We rolled 5 again. We got paid our $100, and now the button goes back to off because we hit our point. So that's the end of a craps round. That's a, if you're on the pass line, that's a successful round of craps. You established a point of 5, and you hit your point of 5 to win your $100. So let's go ahead and do it again. Now the button is off, so that's very important. Now the number 7 and 11 is going to win here. 7 is good now. 7 is very good. There it is. So we just hit 7 on the come out, so I won another $100 because I'm on the pass line. So and the button doesn't go on here because 7 cannot be a point number. Only these 6 numbers can be point numbers. If you roll anything else on a come out roll, it's going to be a different outcome depending on what you bet. If you're betting the pass line, 7 and 11 is win. The numbers 2, 3, 12, which are the only numbers left, are losers. But that's not terribly bad. You're thinking, oh my god, 7 and 11, that's only 2 numbers that I can win on, versus 2, 3, and 12, that's 3 numbers. But going back to this, let's get rid of these. Here's your, on the come out roll, here's your winners, 7 and 11. So that's 8 combinations versus 2 and 3 and 12 are losers on the come out. So it's only 4 combinations. So you have good odds of hitting 7 and 11 on the come out roll versus losing 2, 3, 12. And then, hey, the good news is 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. Those are the numbers that become your point numbers, which are the numbers up at the top of the board, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. So hopefully that makes a little bit more sense to you. So let's see, we've got our $100 on the pass line again. Let's try that again. So now 6 is now our point. So once again, we need to hit 6 before we hit 7. And to put that in a visual perspective, 6 is good, which is in orange. Red is bad. So, well, I did them both in red because I'm a dum-dum. But anyway, you get it. I think, hopefully. So what you'll notice about the layout too, so last time our point was 5, there's only 4 combinations. This time our point is 6, and there's 5 combinations. So we actually have slightly better odds of hitting 6 versus 7 than we did with 5 versus 7. And the felt, or the layout of the felt here is evidence of that. So these inside numbers, this is how you need to look at it. These inside 2 numbers, 6 and 8, these are the most likely numbers to roll other than 7. So if you get a point of 6 or 8 and you're on the pass line, that's good. You have good odds there. I mean, not as good as rolling a 7, obviously, but those are the best point numbers you can have. So if you roll a 6 or 8 on your come out roll and that becomes your point, your odds of getting your $100 bet winning that is better than if you were to roll a 5 or a 9, and even more so than if you were to roll a 4 or a 10. If your point is a 4 or a 10, those are not good point numbers because they're very unlikely to come versus a 7. But it does happen, though, so don't be discouraged if that happens. I mean, that's just the way dice work. So we can try and resolve this bet. I just rolled a 9. That's irrelevant. Basically, the only numbers that matter are 6 and 7, as far as my betting is concerned. So was that a 4 or a 5? This is a 2. These are all irrelevant. Okay, so we hit 6 again. So this game is being super, super nice to me. Nothing but winning. So that's the pass line. Hopefully that explains the pass line as well as I can. I will also explain the don't pass now. The don't pass line is the exact opposite of the pass line. So it's essentially betting against the point numbers, which sounds kind of confusing, I guess. But so let's pretend now we're gonna bet the don't pass. So just like the pass line, 7 and 11 wins here. 2, 3, 12 loses. So what's the opposite of that? 7 and 11 winning here. On the don't pass, 7 and 11 loses on the come out roll. So it's the opposite. So you're thinking, well, 7 and 11 are more likely to come. Why would I play the don't pass when I can bet on the pass line? And if I get a 7 or 11 on the come out, I'm going to win every time. Whereas here, if a 7 11 comes, I'm going to lose every time. Well, you have to understand, if you don't get your 7 and 11 here, 7 is good here until the button goes on. Now 7 is bad, where it's the opposite here. So 7 is bad on one roll, on this first roll. Let's go ahead and try it. Okay. So 7 was bad there, but we missed it. So now 7 is fantastic, because we want to hit a 7 here before we hit the point number. It's the exact opposite of the pass line. Typically, people playing the don't pass don't roll the dice. They watch other people roll, and this is actually a pretty frowned upon bet because you're kind of going against the table. Most people play pass line bets, and that's what makes crap so great. Everybody's gathered around, everybody's cheering, hitting points, everybody's having fun, and then some jerk walks up and starts playing the don't and starts winning money when everybody else is losing. But in a virtual environment like in Four Kings, it's fantastic because nobody can see what you're betting. I mean, they can see you do a fist pump every time you win, which happens, but what are they going to do about it, right? So, and like I said before, 10 is the least likely number up here as a point. 10 and 4 are the least likely points to hit over 7. So if you're playing a don't right now, this is fantastic for you. Because the odds of the dice coming up as 7 are much higher than a 10 rolling. So now we'll just wait for this bet to resolve. So an 8 is irrelevant. So we're looking for a 7 now because we're on the don't pass. If a 10 comes, we lose. So our odds are pretty good of winning this bet. This game is super generous with the amount of 7s that don't show up, though, it looks like. So don't get used to that. Now, you could be betting other things while all this is going on, but I'm just trying to keep it very, very minimal for you. And this is, you know, this is pretty boring, but again, you can sit here and play, and you're having, you're getting the excitement of gambling. Okay, so a 10 actually hit. So that one we lost. So I've made money in Four Kings by doing the don't pass. And I've made money on the pass line. I mean, that's just dice rolling. So hopefully that explains the pass and the don't pass pretty well. I'm gonna go ahead and call this video the end. I think it's getting pretty long. So so we've discussed the pass and the don't pass. We've discussed the field. Hopefully you've got a pretty good grasp of most of the bets here, and the probabilities that lead to you winning or losing those bets. Let's go back to our other thing here. So yeah, once again, follow me on Twitch, follow me on social media, find me in the game, Tiny Orange TV, find me in Four Kings, add me as a friend, let's play some craps, let's hang out, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, guys.